bring the band in. Woo. Well, all right. Yeah.
All right, here we go. First official episode of Between Rounds. I'm here with Mr. Mike Hamill. How you doing, Michael?
What's up? I'm the other side of the co-host, the one round.
Half of the between.
Half of the between.
But today, it's our special honored guest for our very first one, Mr. Marcus McGhee.
Hey.
The maniacal one. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic as always, Coach. You know,
Dude.
bringing the energy.
Pumped to have you here.
Yes, sir.
Couldn't have started it
coming
with a
on.
better dude.
No.
sir.
Starting out hot. It only goes downhill from here, really. Like, unless we
Man,
get Benson on the
don't
show.
put my hand yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So tell us about how you got here. Like, take us on a brief history of Marcus McGhee. How'd you get started? Like, where'd you grow up? Like, give us the map.
Yeah, definitely. So I mostly grew out here in Phoenix. I'm originally from Detroit. So my dad went to prison out there. We had nothing. There was nothing really good out there for us, so my mom wanted to give us the best chance, and my grandparents lived down here, so she took us down here. Me and my brother and my two brothers and one sister, so four of us.
How old were you when you moved to Phoenix?
We were around 5 years old when we moved to Phoenix.
Old enough to kind of know what's going on, but
100%. Yeah, maybe a little later, maybe 6. So I think 5 or 6 years old when we moved down to Phoenix. But yeah, just old enough to understand, like, hey, my dad just went to prison. We don't necessarily know what that means, but we have an idea of it. And to know that, hey, we're moving to a new place too.
Yeah.
So, and just old enough to forget a lot about Detroit too.
yeah.
So that was
Which
part
isn't
of that.
necessarily a bad thing from what I've heard.
100%, not the worst thing. So yeah, that's kind of how we got out here at Phoenix. And then we just moved around here just because of my mom's nature and, you know, coming from Detroit and the issues that we had out there. We were constantly moving around. We always never really had money. My mom being a single parent, you know.
That's tough with 4 kids, though.
Yeah, that's what I say all the time. So, and in comparison, sometimes I hate saying like, oh, you know, we live tough because, man, I know a lot of people that even had a single parent and lived a lot tougher than we did. And my mom really tried. She tried to get us into places that were better, even if we had to deal with, you know, not having electricity sometimes, even if we had to deal with losing some things that other people would, you know, view as like, wow, it's crazy, you know. At least we were in better neighborhoods sometimes, you know, so.
I mean, but not to downplay it, not having electricity is wild.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're,
Like-
the fact that you came out of that
Yeah, 100%.
is an anomaly on its own.
Yeah. Boiling water on the stove because we have gas, you know, because gas, if you guys know, if you know the deal, gas is a lot cheaper than electricity. So,
Yup.
you know, boiling hot water on the stove so we can take baths, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that type of stuff too, you know. So, yeah, a lot of that different type of stuff. We lived through a lot of that type of stuff, you know. But, you know, she always worked, and thankfully she never got crazy into, like, drugs or anything like that.
Yeah.
Unlike me. But she never got into anything crazy, so, you know, she was always able to provide for us. So that's kind of how we got here.
Did you end up going to high school in Phoenix?
Yep, I went to high school out here. I went to elementary school out here, everything. So,
Nice.
in the same.
Because you went to a few high schools, right? Because you guys were moving a bit.
So many high schools.
Yeah.
So many high schools, man. So, Sunrise Mountain, La Jolla, Boulder Creek, Ironwood, ISS.
Now, is that because you're moving, or is that because Marcus was a little shithead?
So both. Both. And it wasn't just me. So
Yeah.
I have my brothers and sisters too. And we all were little just, you know.
Hellions.
We all was just aliens. We
Yeah.
all were into our own things, you know. I honestly felt like I was like the goodier one out of everybody, you know. I tried to stay good for a long time, but, you know, life happens and you surround yourself with people and you start making decisions, you know. So yeah. So we'd all be getting into different things, and we already were on each other's things, you know. So there was never a dull moment between us.
Well, as you came, when did you start skateboarding? Was it here in Phoenix?
Yep, that was here too.
Was that during like high school time or even younger?
That was younger.
Yeah.
So moving around so much, you don't really get to have a lot of friends. Like I knew people, but I didn't really make a lot of good friends.
Yeah.
You know? I had like one friend that I knew, or one or two friends I would know from different areas, and through them, I kind of like adopted skateboarding. And then once I got it, it was one of those things that can go with me, you know?
Yeah.
And I started working young. So I was already working like 11, 12 years old, doing landscaping and different things, just
damn.
making money.
Yeah.
So I was able to, when I basically started, which was around that time,
Yeah.
I'd buy my own skateboards, you know?
Oh, shoot.
I would buy my own bus pass for me to take myself up to Metro Center because they had the Vans skate park up at
Yeah.
Metro Center. Bought my own my own pass for the to be able to go there and everything.
Yup.
Wow.
I was flexing. I felt
I
like
had the
that
Metro
was,
Pass too growing up. My mom's like, "How'd you get all the way to the Tempe skate park?" I'm like, I took the bus. She's like, you're 80 pounds and like 12 years old. What do you mean you took the bus to Tempe?
I would
Like,
never.
I don't know. They had a good skate park.
I would never let my kids do it. Much
No.
no.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you need to
Yeah.
go anywhere. I got you. Like, I'll make it a time to come pick you up. You know?
And skate park culture is so weird for those who like haven't been around it. Like it's 12-year-olds who are just like pretty much misfits, like smoking cigs, getting in fights, like doing dumb shit that could end you up in the hospital all the time. Like extreme sports people are so tough. Like you literally just eat shit 95% of your career and you live for that like 10 seconds of glory landing a trick.
100%.
And you just do it over and over again.
Are the older kids that are there, they supportive? Like they help you coming up?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, and that's why there's like a healthy mix of that too, you know. And it's just like so many different people, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, and it's like a melting pot there. So like you have the people that like will attract to you and will help you, and which I did. I had a bunch of people that I ran into that like rubbed off me in a good way, you know, and kind of instilled good things in me and gave me hope, you know. And there was also guys like, I was 16 and somebody pulled up to the gym, to the park and was messing with some young kid. And, you know, the dude was pretty big and I was talking stuff, but I didn't know he was going to fight me. But I was like, man, why don't you pick on somebody your own size? And this
He
kid
picked you instead?
picked me. Yeah. And he was a grown man, you know, so me and this grown man started scrapping at the skate park, you know. So like, I was one of those guys too that would look over to the park too, you know. I was always down to scrap, you know. I won't ever say that I could scrap because now it's like a whole different story, but I always was like so down, you know. So I'd always be protecting guys, keeping other guys from doing the same thing, from getting in fights, from jumping people, bro, all this type of craziness with no parents around. All of us are all misfits, and most of our homes were single parent homes, and even if they weren't, there was either drugs dealing in there, there was some type of there's so many crazy stories.
And skate park scraps are different.
Yeah.
Like you're on hard concrete.
Yeah.
Like one of the first fights I got into, the guy called my friend a fruit booter because I was a rollerblader. I was like, what'd you say to him? And he went to headlock me, and I'd been wrestling my whole life, right? So I launched this guy, go with it, and his head just skipped off the concrete. I'm like, oh no.
This is different.
Yeah, this is
Did I
different.
just kill this guy?
And then everyone just goes along with their stuff.
What a strange, not strange, but cool, different place to find support and a community, something that you can get into.
Yeah, and that's what we always say, like the skateboarding community is like its own thing, you know, and those people that are from it like appreciate it, you know, because there's a lot of good in it too, and you can always find the negative and the bad and everything, you know, but there's a lot of good in it, and you can see it in the culture. Like a lot of homelessness is like interwoven in skateboarding somehow, because that's the streets. Like you're out here in the streets, we're just cruising around looking for spots, looking for different things to do while we're out there. Just being like the old, like that's basically what it was. That's what it all came from, right?
Yeah.
Everybody on their boards, not having anything else to do, skateboarding, finding spots, partying at these spots, you know what I'm saying, kicking it, drinking, trying to throw down tricks, you know?
Yeah.
And then trying to find a party later on too, you know? Go kick it with each other.
Well, skateboarding's been something that's been part of your life, still is, right?
Yeah, yep.
And you're still skateboarding. How does that go with fighting, do you think?
Yeah.
Are you able to do it? Are you more careful when you do it?
Yes, I'm definitely a lot more careful now when I skateboard. So, I've been skateboarding for so long that there's certain things that I know I can do on a skateboard. So when some people would be like, "Oh, you're kind of going a little harder," I'm like, "Man, even if I fall on this, like, I'd have to be really
comfortable with
careless.
it,
Yeah, I'd have to be really careless to make that mistake. So I'm not really trying to get much better. I'm just trying to get all the things I had back is what I'm trying to do.
Oh, do you feel like it's kind of an escape for you mentally to get away from, I don't know, the training and the work that goes on in your life? Is it just like a moment to be free?
I think so, you know, and honestly, I don't even think about it like that. It's just something I do enjoy. But lately I've been seeing other people say things like that they have certain different things in their life that they utilize as that outlet for them. Yeah. So I've been like looking at it like, okay, yeah, maybe I do, and I don't even realize it's that, you know. Because sometimes I'm just like, it's almost extra work. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go out here and get this extra work, you know, stability.
Yeah. Dude, it is. You get gassed out. I went to the
100%.
skate park like 3 years ago, and I was like, I'm just gonna do the same shit I used to do. Dude, I was huffing and puffing. I'm like, it's so much different. It's just a different adrenal system, right, than we use in here
100%.
and everything. But yeah, your core gets strong. You get tough.
Well,
You're hardened up a bit.
Extreme athletes are extreme athletes.
Yes.
They're crazy balance, body awareness, you know, spatial awareness, being able to go be in the air and be comfortable and not land badly. Because you see normal humans try to do what you do on Instagram, and it's like, that's not going to go very well.
And then you see people get on there and talk stuff, and you're like, dude, just put one foot on this board.
Just try it.
Get on the
Go
board.
drop into a quarter pipe.
100%. Yeah, bro. I've watched so many people. I
Yeah.
was just at the park the other night. Last night I was at the park, bro. And this young girl is trying to get you know, trying to do her thing. And man, she puts both her feet too close on it.
Yep.
And just goes
Sent herself.
sent it, bro. Full swing back too. So like had to hit the pavement
no,
first.
no.
Thank goodness she had a freaking helmet on. But I was just like,
Yeah.
yo, I had to go over there and be like, hey, lean forward, it's better.
Yeah.
We see you skating on Instagram, but we've seen some other things on Instagram.
Oh yeah,
too.
let's get into our Instagram deep dive. I feel like I know you better. I went last night and it was probably about 1 o'clock in the morning, couldn't fall asleep, and so I just did a deep dive on you. I stalked you all the way back to the beginning.
You
I
should
feel like
check
we're
my
closer
Facebook.
now.
You should check my Facebook.
Oh, dude, I didn't even think about Facebook's always got the better ones.
Yeah.
So what we want to do with this segment is we're going to show you a picture that probably needs a little bit more context.
Yeah.
And so we'll bring it up on the corner of the screen so that everybody at home can see this. But you let us know what was happening during this picture. So this is the first one.
Oh yeah. So I got the cooking show, Munchies with Marcus,
Yeah.
and my boy Ryan hit me up. He's like, bro, I got a perfect spot for us to shoot our next spot. And he's like, I got an idea for us to kind of get back into season 2 of the show, And I was like, bet, what is it? He was like, it's a butcher shop. And I'm like, oh, say less, And he's like, man, I think they have a pig that we're gonna let us like hang up like a Rocky moment in that, So basically we went over there and we shot the whole shot, and they let me put some gloves on and tenderize the pig.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we put that in the video.
Well, then they say the pig's skin is like the closest to like human stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like when tattoo artists are practicing. Yeah. So did it feel pretty realistic when you were hitting it?
100%. And the thing's harder than you think, bro.
Yeah.
So I had these chain ones on first that they use for cutting, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was
Did it
about
rip
to
up
start
your
hitting it
knuckles?
with that. I was about to, and I touched it 2 times. I was like, yo, you
Nope.
guys got some other gloves, so I had to get the softer gloves too.
Yeah.
And I was hitting it with the soft gloves. I was like, oh, bro, I feel ribs.
Yeah.
And it's tough. Those things are hard. I hit it in the head a bunch of times too. I was like punching it in the head. And
Imagine walking in that, just being a normal human.
Yeah.
And just
like,
see
I'm
this
good.
dude just teeing up, just
take
some
off.
hanging pig.
Yeah, you can see the employees like they're having way too much fun back there.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
I saw a thing on Sylvester Stallone. They didn't want him to play Rocky.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that? Like,
Yeah.
he tried to get in and he wanted to
Yeah.
be in the movie. They're like, no, we'll buy the script for X amount of dollars. And they left and they called him
Yeah.
back. We'll buy it for X more.
Yeah.
And finally he made it. Well, I guess he had to shoot a bunch of scenes and those cows
Yeah.
were frozen. And he just beat the heck out of himself.
Yeah, he's getting after
He
it.
did like the whole day just hitting cows. So it's
Yeah.
pretty funny to think about that. But that's what that brought to mind, you doing the Rocky scene in there.
Yeah, I loved it.
That's why I was like excited to do that one. So that was cool. That's what that is. Context.
Moving on to the next one. Little sorting hat.
Oh.
Is that what we got going on?
Back
Jeez.
to Munchies with Marcus again.
Yeah.
Man.
I miss it, dude. I miss our cooking.
Double the munchies.
Just a lot of work.
100%. And I'm gonna get back into it. I actually had a call before this. I'm just trying to make sure I just spent a lot of time, effort, and money to do it.
Yeah.
And if I'm gonna keep doing it, I want to do it. I need to make it a priority as well, and it needs to make sense. So it's like I have to do this. This is part of my job. This is part of my, not like I have to do it. Like I don't I have to, but I get to do it, but it has to be for purpose, right?
Yeah.
And right now I didn't really I just was like, I want to do this. I want to give the fans a little bit something that they could vibe with me on and get to know me a little bit on and have some fun with it. And we kind of went with that route. And now it's like, okay, it did well, but now I'm gonna spend that much money and time in it. We gotta direct.
You got to do it right.
Is that a
You gotta
passion
stay
of yours?
consistent.
Like, is it fun for you to do that?
It is.
Like you're saying, it turned into kind of a job, I guess, if I'm interpreting right. But you love cooking. Right?
I do enjoy cooking. So that's my biggest thing. And honestly, I fell off of cooking because of meal prepping so much. But that's always been one of my things. And my grandma is one of those ones. So I was out of my mom's house early, and I'm often, right? I was constantly getting kicked out of the house. But one of the times, one of the times I'm living with my grandparents, and she's the one that kind of really instilled it in me, because she would tell us things all the time. Not to say that we don't need women or women are only for these things, but she would always say, I'm going to teach you everything that you would have a woman do for you, so that you don't have to have a woman do those things for you, so that you'll be the man that you can, so that you're not yearning for those things, but you're yearning for more substance in a woman than what she can bring to the table as far as what she can do in a society for you, essentially.
Then you're not relying off of it,
And
right?
and you're never relying on this person. You don't have to rely on somebody. Oh, you can't clean your own clothes correctly. You don't know how to separate clothes and put them in there. You don't know how to use bleach and softener. And,
Because if you can do all this stuff.
That's solid grandmothering right there.
100%. So
That's awesome.
during that time, she put me on to that, to cooking too. So me and my brother, because my brother lived there too for a while, because he got put out early. Long story, But we're both living there at the same time, and I'm 14. and he's like 16 years old, and we're in high school, and she's like, all right, every morning and every night, you guys are making breakfast and dinner, essentially. So we'd always have to make different meals, come up with those meals, give her a list for what
plan ahead,
100%, so she can have the food there, or just you look what we have, make a plan of what we're gonna have, and then cook it. You know?
That's awesome.
So she kind of instilled that enjoyment and love of cooking for me, you know.
Perfect.
All right, we got one more?
Last deep dive. This one looks like a young Tony Hawk, like the Burt. What was it, the Bones Brigade? Yeah, the Bones Brigade. Like when you think of stereotypical skateboarding pictures that are badass, like you'd see it, like I'd have pictures like this on my wall, or like rollerbladers and stuff, but this is like the iconic picture. So I saw that and I was like, oh, gotta talk about that.
Yep, yeah. I was just hitting the air at Union Hills. That was like my stomping ground park for the most part. So
got the skate shop attached to the skate park.
But that came later on. Because it was Alliance at first, but it wasn't even Alliance. It wasn't even a skate shop. It was just a skate park. And then they brought that. The Alliance was like, oh, I'm gonna get a skate shop right next to it. And then they sold out, and it became Cowtown. But so that was just back in the day. So I put that. I had posted that just as like a throwback Thursday. Like, oh man, I used to be way better than I am now. You know, like that was life. So that picture was before I even thought about fighting.
Really?
Before I even thought about fighting. Like, don't get me wrong, I was
Except
always
for as
scrapping.
a 16-year-old with the guy in the park.
You're
fighting anyway.
I was scrapping all the time, Coach. I was always scrapping. Everyone knows me.
Before he started training. He's always been a fighter.
100%. That was always one of those things that just was, I had innately in me, is the fire to fight and willingness to fight, you know? Which I'll say that there's a lot to be said for that, I think, you know? To already have that. And it's like, directing that was the problem. But so I didn't even think about fighting. I never took a class, and I didn't want to wrestle in high school. None of that. That was all during that time. So it's crazy to think that was back when I thought I was gonna be a professional skateboarder, straight up, every day, day in and day out. Skateboarding was life. You know?
That picture looks like a professional skateboarder. That's a sick shot.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna be. That was my thing.
My mom had to talk me out of it. I had like a match my sophomore year of high school, dude, where I lost to like maybe the most hated kid in the state, and I got upset and lost like last 10 seconds. And I was like, wrestling is dead to me. I'm done with this. I spent like the next 3 months just at the skate park, like 6 hours a day. I get out of school, go to the skate park, wasn't home till like midnight. And I told my mom, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna wrestle next year. She's like, oh yeah, what are you gonna do? I was like, I'm gonna be a pro rollerblader.
You're gonna be a fruit brooder?
Yeah, pro fruit brooder.
Bro, I was too though. I was not gonna lie. I used to have the rollerblade backpack. I bought myself the rollerblade.
You could put them in both ways
and the skateboard. I can have whichever one, and I have my shoes in the bag too. So and you know, when you're a little street kid, you're just hitting the bus wherever you go, wherever you end up.
It's got Red Bulls and Gatorades.
That's all you need. Everything a grown boy needs.
You just like, all right, throw whatever I'm gonna think I need. If I might be home tonight. If not, I'll be in somebody's backyard, on somebody's couch. Random stuff, you know.
So have you heard the people talking about your lookalikes, your celebrity lookalikes?
Yeah, they're doing pretty good.
What do you think about that?
The internet's they're undefeated. I gotta give it to them, man. Honestly, there's a couple that I'm kind of like, that one's overrated, man. But there's a lot of other good ones that I'm like, damn.
So give us the list. Which one do you like? Which is fun?
So obviously, Archer is my favorite one, you know? I love that movie growing up, and I mean, Archer is just iconic, period. That movie was iconic. It was like the first of its kind.
And Archer's yoked up. Like, that's not a bad thing to get compared to.
And a great leader. Like a cool dude. He's the emissary of the Gorgonites, for God's sake.
I am Archer, emissary of the Gorgonites.
Do you know the Gorgonites? The Gorgonites didn't look like they were playing, you know what I'm saying? They were not playing. They were about business. So.
But Marcus' physique kind of looks like Archer.
I think that's when they gave it to me too.
Like the beginning of camp, it looks like me on weigh-in.
Oh my God.
And then he still gets leaner and more shredded. I'm like, all right, man, come on.
It's all because of Archer, you know?
So if Archer's number one, then what comes next?
So they, I don't know if you guys remember the caveman from the Geico commercial.
Oh, shit.
That's fucked up.
They put that one on there, and I was just like, bro, you know, like, damn, they got me with that one too, bro. I was like, gee, I'm not that light-skinned, but the wrinkle, I was like, I see where you guys are going with this, bro. I guess
don't even feed into it. I don't see it at all. like a young Channing Tatum.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I honestly, lucky I have a good confidence about myself because, man, honestly, I was like, well, I thought I was better looking than I guess I am. So, you know.
Well, they hit you with Vanderlei Silva too.
He is not good looking.
He's ugly as hell.
Vanderlei, I love him and Cyborg.
Ugly.
And that's why I'm like, even when they do the little trade across all the way, I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see the Vanderlei one. You know, I guess have a scouring. I don't even know how to use the word, but I can see.
Yeah.
I maybe
they
that.
hit you in Vandalay with like the Animorphs,
Yeah,
like
that's what
those
they did.
books back in the day.
They did. They did an Animorph flow reel. And they keep on posting that, you know. And some people will mention it in there. The Vandalay with dreads. They'll be like, I'm like, dude, I don't see it, man. But okay, you guys can take that one too.
I'll take Archer and the Caveman, but not Vandalay.
And the one before Vandalay that I'll take for sure too is the Cleon from freaking Star Trek, dude.
Oh no, that one's rough. I haven't heard that one.
Oh, they got me with that one too. The forehead, the Sharpay forehead wrinkles, dude.
The Sharpay forehead.
Yeah, I don't know what to do. They're what I got, you know. What you working with, you got, you know. So.
Hey, I feel you. My hair's falling out. I'm working with what I got.
So Vandalay's probably number 4.
He's number 4.
Klingon's number 3.
Yep.
The Geico Caveman is number 2.
100%, yeah.
And then
Archer at number 1.
Emissary of the
number 1.
Gorgonites is number 1.
Yep, 100%. I got a shirt too, so you know, I got a shirt that I made of me on a skateboard smashing a cheeseburger. That's gonna be my Munchies with Marcus.
That's
sweet.
Logo. Yeah, so that's gonna be.
So when that comes out, go out and get them.
It's already out right now, so it's on my bio.
Well, it is the holiday season.
100%.
So might be a good time.
You need a little stocking stuffer?
100%.
Little Marcus stuffer?
Yeah, hey, there's
Tell
kid
me.
sizes too. Kid sizes up there.
Well, you love the holidays. I've heard that you love holidays and decorating. Tell us about that. Where did that come from?
You take it to another level, though. Like, I love the holidays, and I've got a single strand of Christmas lights and one Grinch up front. You take it to a different level here.
So that's barely decorated.
Yes.
That is semi-accidental at that point.
Yeah,
That's what I would
listen, I'm
say.
proud of it. I'm proud of every inch, Kev.
Yeah, I feel like you're just trying to participate because the neighbors, you look good, you know. That's what if I was driving that, I'd be like, oh yeah, he's participating, I guess.
Yeah. Bless his soul.
So are you Chevy Chase?
Yeah,
Is that who you are?
Exactly. That's
Christmas Vacation?
My alter ego, you know, my alter ego. Yeah. So honestly, we didn't do that really celebrate growing up, and you know, we didn't really have money, so like we didn't really have great Christmases ever, you know. So and then we became Jehovah's Witnesses for a while, and that was like a weird time in our life, you know, where
now you don't get Christmas.
we don't get Christmas or any other holidays, for instance. And there was a lot of things that went behind the scenes on that in all reality, but it was kind of, it had its good things and its bad things, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that kind of took us away from being celebrating holidays for a long time. So we always didn't get the chance to do that. And I always looked around and I was like, man, there's always these things I wanted to do if I had the chance as a father to do, you know?
Yeah.
So ever since me and my wife got back together and decided to get married, and and I've had a stable lifestyle. Every year I've just been like, all right, every year I'm gonna just make each holiday better. So Halloween and Christmas essentially.
You're healing yourself.
Yeah, healing the trauma, the
But
trauma
also
from
providing some cool stuff for your 4 kids and
100%. So
memories for them, right?
I get to see them light up, and then not even just them. To be honest, I love to see kids from the neighborhood get to light up from it too. You know, just because you don't know what people are going through. You know, and from the outside in, everybody looks like they're doing okay. But some of these people in the same neighborhoods that we're living are living rough lives, you know, and going through really hard things. So I always feel like on top of doing it for them and me being able to live vicariously through them, also neighborhood kids can find an appreciation. And maybe someone who never feels Christmas spirit because they don't have that in their household can be inspired to feel some type of Christmas spirit or Halloween spirit or holiday spirit, you know, so that they can feel warm. Because there is something warm about the holidays.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's like smiling at a stranger, right? It's super contagious. You see somebody that's done up their whole house like that. Like, how do you frown and be pissed at that? You look at that, it's super contagious to go around. You know?
We used to take the kids when they were little in a wagon and just walk the streets and find the houses that were cool. And they still remember it.
I was about to say,
with fond memories.
Those are memories that can't be bought, you know? And like, I get to see other people do that too. Like walk by and I'll see their kids just be lit up. And even though my kids are kind of like, eh, he did it again. Oh, at least we're beating the neighbors because we're always in competition with the neighbors too. They did really good this year too. It's a tough competition. But the neighbor, he almost acts like he doesn't even want to do it, but he just looks over at me and he goes, "Hey, bro."
His wife's just yelling at him like, "Get out there! You see Marcus is out there right now."
Just shaking his head in the window.
Yeah,
that son of a bitch is going.
That guy secretly hates you.
Yeah, that's funny. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't talked much about fighting. That's because we really want this to be about getting to know you, but your career is taking off. Like
rocket launching.
You know, like you've been doing a good job for a long time. We waited a long time to get in the UFC, and then you got there. You're 4 in a row, 3 finishes, 3 bonuses,
already.
top 15 in the world. Who did any fighters inspire you along the line? Did you watch any people and think, man, I'd like to fight like that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, a lot of different guys because I didn't get into watching MMA until I was actually into MMA, honestly, because the guys that always watched it when I was younger, I always looked at them as like posers I hate it to say it like that.
The tap out shirt.
100%. You know how real skaters, we're not trying to, soul skaters, bro.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not trying to be a sellout like that. And then once I started getting introduced to real people that were involved in the sport, and that had a passion for it, I started to look at these different guys and start to admire. And Ben's got to be one of those guys for sure,
Oh, cool.
coming around him, being around him. Randy too. Randy being at the gym early. Joe Riggs being at the gym early, being over at the UFC gym early and seeing those guys and being like, oh, these are real people that are around me that are doing this. I didn't even know people could really do this as a living,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like Rampage Jackson or Chuck Liddell from Pride. It was your role models, your personal role models.
Personal. And I feel like that's always been something for me, period. I think I've always driven from people that are around me more so than people out there, people that directly make an impact in my life. Because I really wasn't into anybody in the MMA realm. I didn't know much about it at all. Even when I went into the gym, it wasn't even like, hey, I want to do MMA. It was like, hey, I want to fight. I don't know what that looks like, but can you get me one this month, next one? And they're like, what are you talking about?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Like you would be, coach. Like, what are you talking? Go hit the bag for a year, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
then come back.
And then come back.
If you're still here, we'll talk about it.
100%. But I'm just like, hey, life's tough right now. I'd really love to get in a fight. If you guys can provide that for me, completely wrong way to go about it,
I mean, it's funny you say that, like the people you watch, because I think that's the best thing about our gym is I don't have like any outside fighters that I really look up to a ton, because I just don't know them. And I look up to you as like a man, not just like an athlete. And in the gym, you get to know everybody so much here. And we have father figures on the team, older guys, you and me are one of the older ones on the team now. So I feel like we're inspiring the next generation of fighters. But I think that's super cool. And that's like what the lab is known for is, hey, we love our own. We're do anything for our own, and that's who we look up to.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And that breaks it down for me perfectly. I've always been about the people that are around me. I've always hated like the idea of clout. Not to say it's bad or anything, but like I always hated that. I always wanted to like draw energy from the people that I really saw, that I looked up to, and I could see what they were doing in their life, and I valued that a lot more than like fame and fortune and all those other things. That's one of the things that drew me to the MMA lab so hard, was that because the guys that tell me about it forever, but I got to see it, I got to see the family forming and continue to keep on growing in that nature, and that's what got me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
Well, I mean, I think fighting is the realest thing there is. You get in the octagon and naked in front of all these people in a cage, and it's as real as it gets. Like, it's real.
You find out who you are as a human real quick.
Like our culture is about videos and the perception of you as a person, where I love that you're about it. Like, you are real. What you see in the cage is what you see outside the cage. It's always been something that's valuable to me as a coach, that like that quality of character, So that's really interesting. I didn't know that about Joe and Randy. That's pretty cool, man. I love that. Well, what do you think? What's upcoming for you? Like, do you have any aspirations for fighting? Like,
life after.
Do you think about what does your career look like?
Yeah. So honestly, I just want to take it as far as I absolutely can, wherever God's got me put on this path to go. I'd love to get the belt, I'd love to utilize that. Honestly, because everyone likes to say that, right? But it's not like the idea of just having the belt and being able to say I'm a champion. It's like what that provides, what kind of inspiration that provides for other people to what they can do. If a person like me could come from where I've come from, and my journey in this is not what you would expect for a champion, and then show that any given night. I mean, I think that makes people who have given everything even be able to work harder. Like, hey man, I have to work harder because you never know where this thing's coming from. There's no guarantees in this thing, and no matter what level of life we're in, every single one of us has our day.
Yes, sir.
So I want to take it there. I would love to. I want to find out if I'm the best in the world at some point. And I always said that before ever fighting, and when I was already fighting people. But I always loved Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, all these guys. Or Donnie Yen, all these guys. And I was like, man, I just want to be one of the greatest fighters, And when I used to say that, I didn't understand what it was going to mean in my life. Yeah. And for me to be where I am now, it's like I get to look back on that and be like, man, I didn't even know what I was talking about. And I kind of knew what I was talking about,
Yeah.
You put it out there early.
After so say you get done fighting, what does it look like for you? What do you think after fighting looks like for you?
I'm a worker. I'm a mover, man. I'm gonna work. I would like to open up a couple different businesses. I want to open up a food truck for my Munchies with Marcus eventually.
Oh, that would be
that'd
awesome.
be badass.
Get a menu for that, so that'd be dope.
Go to
too.
skate parks.
Yeah.
Shit, okay, we're coming full circle. All right.
Yeah, I would like to do a whole lot of different type of community actions like that too, like be moving around different skate parks. Somehow try to promote a way to get people skateboards and hygiene products and do things like that too. So that's something that's deep in my heart too. Find a way to fund something that would be able to give
Just
back.
giving back, yeah.
Yeah, because like even last night we were at the skate park and these two kids are like, bro, can I use your board? And they don't know I have another board over here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, yeah. I give them the board and these two kids are just freaking sharing the board,
Yeah.
like and killing it. I'm like,
Yeah,
yo,
shredding it.
I'm like, you guys don't have a skateboard? They're like, no, we don't have a skateboard. They're like, you guys are just up here, no parents? I don't know
Yeah.
these kids, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, Merry Christmas, guys. Here's the skateboard,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, that's awesome.
It's
man.
like
you
to
made
be
those
able to
kids' year.
How excited
Yeah.
were they?
They were ecstatic, bro.
Yeah.
They're probably there
Yeah.
all night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're probably there all night. And they're gonna
They're
use
still
this-
there.
They're gonna be there
Yeah.
today. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get there next time. Like again, like that, just that little
Yeah.
bit of moment. And it's like to other people, oh, that's not that big. Bro, if you could do that 100 times a year, you know, man, that changes people's life. That changes the choices that they make. That
For
can
sure.
make them decide not to go do stupid stuff with a friend and chase
It's that
this
butterfly effect.
100%,
Yep.
man.
Paying it forward.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to do a lot. I want to get into those type of things. And then honestly, man, I still love the cannabis industry. I did that for a long time. I'd love to find a way to be inside the cannabis industry and have a spot in there. And I love agriculture, man. I'm a really big fan of it. It's not something that I realized that I had a passion for, but agriculture as a whole. At first it was like landscaping, but then everything that goes down to the bare minimum as far as roots, you know, like how the root system works and all this type of stuff. So like I want to get into that. I want to get my agricultural license. Yeah, so a couple of different plans, man. I'm gonna like life doesn't
Big
stop.
goals. Yeah.
I want to
Gonna
be
be busy.
carpenter.
Yeah, well, and that's how it should
Carpenter
be, right?
too?
I want to be busy. I want to be building things. I want to do the things that inspire me. You know, I want to do things. I want to build. I want to have the ability to do those things because that takes to be able to do those things. You have to have finances to do that. You know, you have to have time. You have to have the smart and the wherewithal to do so. So if I can be in a position to be doing those things, that means I'm doing pretty decent.
Well, a
in life.
structure that can support those things,
Exactly.
which you're building right now as you go forward.
And that's what I'm trying to do, just build it so that when those times come, because there's money to be made in all those different things, you know? But then there's also like all the things that are deeper than that, like networking and emotional relationships that are built through all those types of things too, you know?
Yeah.
I don't just go hide off in some corner for the rest of my days. Like, yeah, I did it. Fuck, you see, we out of here.
I'm fat as shit now. Grab me my
Hanging out
beer.
at home watching just constantly like you can't get him out of the house. Like, nah, that's not me.
Well, that's going to be fun to watch. It's been fun watching your rise, you know, because you and I have talked a bunch about getting you there and how that path looked. So it was so rewarding to see you get there and just amazing to see you take advantage of your time and rise up like you
And
have.
just thrive once he got there, right? So many people get into the UFC and that's their goal, right? They go 0-2. Like most people who get into the UFC or the bigger shows have one contract because they've reached their goal already. Like seeing you just immediately rocket launch and let the world know what we at the gym already knew, that you're one of the best guys in the world, has been super rewarding for us.
Well, I appreciate it. And I have to say, like, the surrounding means that is the biggest thing behind all that. And I always say it, you know, being around the guys at the gym, being around Ben, being around you, the things that have been instilled in the culture here supersede, like, me getting to the UFC, you know, like, it supersedes that because, like, there's so many times, and I mean, so many conversations that we've had, so many times you've come to me like, bro, what is going on, Marcus? Like, hey, this window is going, like, you can do this. You know, being pushed and having people to look up to is added to that for me. So like I always get to say it, like it's been a blessing to be able to do this, but I hold more dear like all the things that we've been able to go through the years, and that helps me kind of step in there without like expectations of winning, because we expect to win. Coach, you always say it all the time, you know, we expect to win, we all want to win, you know, but more so than everything, we want to give our best foot forward, you know, and with the people who have given their best foot forward with us, you know. And that is where there's so much more value in that than the wins and the losses. Yeah. And I think they help the wins and the losses as well, because losses come, you know, and hopefully, you know, we can beat them and not get any of those, but, you know, it's a tough division, you know. So, I'm just super thankful to have a good family surrounding me. And I think that's what people should be looking for. I think that's the most important to get to these moments, and then not put so much on them so that you can perform. Yeah. You know, because anybody can perform on their night. It's just like, what is your why? You know? I
agree. Well, that's a perfect way to close this first episode. Marcus, we love you. can't wait to see you do more, and it's cool to hear there's some things I didn't know. So I'm really happy to have you kick this little adventure off with us.
Got a break in between rounds with the stud.
100%.
Couldn't have gone better.
I'm gonna definitely have to jump on again too, because we got some more stories. I feel like we can go back and forth,
So that's it, you guys. Thank you for joining us for this. Marcus, you're the man.
Thank you,
Michael?
guys.
Yep. We'll see you guys later.
Later.